All right, I'll be quick with this one because I gotta go in about 30 minutes and my voice is dying. So along with being sick, I was going through the Netflix because somebody else had an account, and I saw Castlevania, and Chris Beckloff recommended that one a while ago. He said, "Hey, have you seen Castlevania?" I'm like, "No, it's got a redhead in it." I'm like, "Yes, yes, Chris. I know. If it didn't have a redhead in it, would you watch it?" Like, yeah, it's pretty good. And so, as God smote me and struck me down with the illness, I lied there with Dog of No Real Value and was then treated to what has been hands down the best anime I have seen since Cowboy Bebop. I am not even being slightly funny. I'm not being slightly. There is only one minor problem I have with it. It's not as good as Cowboy Bebop. It would, even if you remove this one thing, it would not have been as good as Cowboy Bebop. Bebop just edged it out a little bit more. But we're talking like Cowboy Bebop is up here. Castlevania is a little bit below it. And then I don't even know what my third favorite. Maybe it would be what would it be? Ninja Scrolls up there. Ninja Scrolls real good. Um Others I'm sure, but yeah, Ninja Scroll is pretty highly ranked up there. But it's a gap. It's a gap. Anyway, so the plot is it's like 1400s Romania. This human woman goes to Dracula's castle and convinces him to teach her about science and math and medicine so she can help the people. He's reluctant because she's human. He wants to be left alone. He's grumpy and grouchy like Beckloff. He doesn't want to be associated with anyone. But he lets her in because she's very charming and charismatic. Well, they end up getting married. So Dracula's married. He's happy. He loves this woman. And then while he's away, the villagers in particular, the church accuse her of witchcraft, and they burn her at the stake. And he finds this out, and he says, "That's it. I'm gonna torture and torment and kill all humans, all of you. I'll be back in a year. Get your affairs in order." So the church is, like, "Oh, we saw, he did this with fire and brimstone, and he came from the sky and big fiery face in the air. What the hell is this? All right, hang on. There we go. So year goes by, the church is celebrating how nothing happened and that they're showing a force, and we're not gonna bow down, and it was just we're God's on our side. Well, then Dracula comes back and he brings a demon horde with him, and they just start laying waste to town after town after town. And so that is Dracula's angle. Now, behind the scenes is Dracula in his castle, and he's going to go to war on the human population. So he's enlisted the help of all the different vampires across the world, as well as all these demons and minions that they have. But he has also enlisted two humans, Isaac and Hector, and these two guys can bring dead bodies back from the dead by pulling souls out of hell and infusing them into a corpse. It doesn't turn them back into human, turns them into monsters. Which I don't know how deeply into the plot I want to go. But the reason that these two humans are working for Dracula is because society screwed them over in one way or another. They are misanthropes. They do not like humans. They're like, yeah, get rid of them. And I'm like, tell me more. So, and the reason I'm going into that level of detail is the characters. There's not a character who isn't at least, 10,000 feet deep. There is these characters, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of them are amazingly well done, amazingly well thought out, and they were planned, because at the end, which I'll get to later, um, the character development was very precisely done, very strategically done when they came up with these characters. So Dracula more or less has a bunch of vampires as his generals, but the two main guys that are in command of all of them are two humans, Hector and Isaac. Now, while that is happening, there is what's his name? Belmont, Trevor Belmont. He is the main character. Well, no, Simon Belmont from the original Castlevania games. This is Trevor Belmont. He's the last of the Belmonts. His family was excommunicated. They took away his family. He's the last one. So he's just a vagabond bum. But he was trained by his family to fight creatures of the night. That's what the Belmonts did. And they studied them and they developed weapons and all that. But they too were accused of witchcraft. So the peasant folk and the church drove him out. So he's just wandering from town to town. And he comes to a town where all these monsters have come in and destroyed and eaten half the population. And there's a group of not religious people, but kind of nonprofit do-gooder types, kind of a monk. What would you call it? Traveling monks. A sisterhood or a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood of people that try and help those in need. Well, the church thinks that they're the cause of all the demons attacking. And so, and whereas the people are being helped by these traveling monks. And it's really, deep topics. And they take a couple episodes to develop this one. They show how the church convinces the townsfolk that these are the reasons the demons are attacking. And it's really good. It shows like one of the more arrogant bishops in his church. The demons are coming in. You can't be in here. This is a temple. This is a worship of God. And they're like, no, God's not here, and that won't protect you. And he gets his head bit off. By the way, the monsters eat and feed off of people, so it's pretty gross and grotesque. But it kind of shows you, the concepts of the Inquisition and burning witches at the stake and the absolute, science is witchcraft, that kind of thing. And how the church was more about power than it was any kind of a religion or God or salvation or anything like that. And so they're turning the people to like burn the monks down, burn them down. And then Simon Belmont challenges one of the monks and says, well, you shouldn't have a weapon on you, right? You're a man of God. Oh, look at that. You got a sword. Well, out of the monks, one of the monks has a daughter, and she's the cute girl. And I forget what he saves her. She wants to go on adventure. Simon Belmont, or not Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont. Where was he? I guess he was just meandering. He was going to go somewhere else. Oh, he's going to go to his family's old place to find weapons and any kind of documentation he could find to help fight the hordes that are coming in. So she says, well, I'll go with you. I'm trying to remember how Alucard comes in. Oh, that's right. So Dracula's son, Alucard, which is Dracula spelled backwards, he is buried in the catacombs of one of these towns. That's what they got. They got to go find this. The rumor has it Alucard is around, and he can defeat Dracula. Who is he? He's his son, and Dracula didn't like him didn't treat him well very much. So they go and they find him, and they get him out of the coffin. And right off the bat, Alucard and Trevor start fighting each other because, well, Alucard's half Dracula. And, and Alucard is very refined and educated. And if you've ever seen Samurai Champloo, he's Jean. And the other one is Mugen. Trevor's more rough and tumble and crass and all that. It a lot of parallels between that, and then the girl is like trying to keep these two from at each other's throats, but inevitably they kind of become brothers and they begrudgingly like each other. And so they agree that they should set aside the differences and they should go and find a way to fight Dracula. Then they go to the Belmont household to find some kind of weapons to defeat Dracula. and they're going around and all it's just great because right off the bat, Alucard gives him the finger and is like, F you too, eat a bag of dicks." It's like, "Yeah, all right." And the girl, she's just like, "Oh, you boys." So, pretty early on in the series, um, Alucard finds Dracula. They at Dracula's castle. They end up fighting, and Alucard kills Dracula. I'm like, huh, this is pretty quick. This is ending rather early. We still got at least 2/3 of the show to go. And so, even though Dracula is dead, throughout all that fallout, there's this evil female vampire, Camilla, and she is one of the queens, one of four queens of a group of vampires that's all female. They have their own, it was kind of cool. There was like Nordic vampires that came in from Norway. There was Asian vampires that came in from Asia. They're going to help Dracula was the king of the vampires. And you're going to help eliminate all the humans in the world. And so she was from the all female group of vampires. Well, surprise, sit down. She was trying to betray Dracula, and her plans kind of went sideways. So Dracula was dead, but she was not in charge of his castle. She was not the queen vampire of all the vampires and ruler of all the world. So she makes off with Hector, which was one of Dracula's main generals, and brings him back to her kingdom, where her and her three sisters are not, well, three female vampires rule that section of the world. Then there's Isaac, there's a lot going on. You're just gonna have to watch it. Isaac was the other human that was helping out Dracula, and Isaac was most loyal to Dracula. Isaac was protecting Dracula from all these other different vampires that were going to betray him. Isaac was there defending Dracula as all these people came into the castle to attack. But Dracula really appreciated Isaac as a friend. One of the only friends, the only loyal guy he found out he had. And so Isaac is ready to give up his life. And Dracula's like, "You're mortal. I'm immortal." And he says, "Sorry, Isaac." And he grabs him, he throws him into a portal that takes Isaac back to his home country, which is somewhere in the Middle East or Northern Africa or something. Not sure. He's Sufi, so maybe Sudanese. Isaac is black. They mentioned he's Muslim, Sufi. So he's in the desert, I think, somewhere in Africa. There's real towns and real countries mentioned in here, but they never mention that. Although, yeah, they did. They ended up going across the Mediterranean to Genoa. So he's somewhere Tunisia, maybe somewhere north coast of Africa. And so Hector is a slave to the female vampires. What's his name? Isaac has vowed vengeance on the humans and anyone who betrayed Dracula. And since Isaac has the ability to create undead creatures from corpses, he's slowly building an army in Africa, which he then uses. He's going to go and hunt down. He doesn't know who yet. He's got to figure out who screwed up what. Inevitably finds out it is the evil female vampire. Hector is a slave. They use him to keep making more creatures as well. He can make creatures as well because the female vampires want to take over all of Europe. And then what is Alucard gets his dad's castle and is sad and depressed. I was trying to figure out, well, why are they having him hang back? He was tired. He killed his dad. He's very depressed. He didn't want to go on any kind of adventuring. And so Belmont and the girl, Sypha, I think her name is, they're like, "Okay, well, if you need anything, he's like, you always have a place to stay here." And so it's really kinda sad. He's there, he's making food, he's doing all this, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so bored." And so he ends up making 2 little, like, doll representations of Trevor and Sypha, and he has this I was, like, rolling over laughing. Whoever wrote this is a genius. I mean, he's like, "Well, what do you guys think?" And then he talks like Trevor, "Oh, I think everything sucks and I'm great and I'm gonna take my small penis and I'm gonna go dip it in some mud and then I'm gonna drink some piss beer out of a goat's entrails." And then he does the female like, "Well, I know everything because I'm really good with words." I was like, "Oh my god, this is just hilarious." So he's like all sad and kind of like, "All right, that's he doesn't have a mission." So then Belmont and the girl, they want to go on their little adventure. And they run into a village where there is some weird going on with one of these friars. Um, they it's a little of a complicated plot, but the mayor of the town can't go into the church because he doesn't have the jurisdiction to, but he suspects something weird's going on in this church because the friar's acting weird. So he enlists the help of Belmont and the girl. And basically, what they find out is that um, the priests have been co-opted by a demon. The demon is trying to open a portal directly to hell. And there's this vagabond that comes through town. I forget his name, and he's he's going to be a main character, but you don't exactly know the plot he's playing until you find out that this dimension to hell, this portal to hell, it's not a portal to hell; it's a portal to anywhere. He wants to control this portal. That's why he's there investigating, because the love of his life is in that portal. Kind of imagine a multiverse is what it is. That's a better way of putting it. It's access to a multiverse. The love of his life is in there. And so he is willing to do anything to get that woman. The friar or the priest are trying to open up a portal to hell, not only to let in more demons to take over the humans and all that, but because they're also trying to resurrect Dracula. They're trying to get him out of hell. I'm not going to ruin the mad scientific thing that happens later on. But down the road, this portal to hell plays a very important role at the very end, because that's where they're trying to get all these demons to come out to kill all the humans, and they're also trying to resurrect Dracula through that. And so that's why and then this guy has a ulterior aim of getting the love of his life out of the multiverse that way as well. So they find out what's going on, and they got to fight all these demons, and they got to kill the evil priest. And then this guy who's trying to find his girlfriend, he runs into the portal. He tells Belmont and the girl, like, "Thank you. I'll see you soon again." Da da da. So he's in the multiverse. Um, Belmont and the girl are out. Town's destroyed. They're getting tired of all the death and the mayhem. They're kind of getting depressed. They thought it was fun and romantic going on adventure. And so they what did they do? I gotta remember, I think they decided to go back to Alucard. Um, but who was attacking? That's right. I'm trying to right. Okay. So and obviously the movie does this better than me. Anyway, to get Dracula back from the dead, unbeknownst to Alucard, the way to do that is where Dracula died, which is in Alucard's old room in the castle that Alucard is now in. So all the different factions, the remnant factions of the vampires, are starting to mobilize a force, and they are going to go and then attack the castle. Get to that place. They're going to run a seance or whatever on the spot where Dracula died, but obviously they have to go and attack the castle. So it's just Alucard. He's just there by himself. And so he's getting his castle is under siege, da da da. And right at the right moment in time, I won't explain how. In comes Belmont and the girl, and they're all reunited. Now, concurrently running it, it's more like a soap opera. There's like 4 different things going on at the same time. So that's one epic climatic battle happening there. The other one is the story of revenge with Isaac. He's thrown back into Africa. He creates an army of creatures to go and find out who is responsible for betraying Dracula. Well, he got through detective work. He finds out it's this Carmilla gal, and the to a lesser extent her 3 sisters, who weren't exactly condoning her actions, but they protect her because she's one of the sisters. So he is making his way to the female vampire castle. And this is my favorite part of the whole thing, was Isaac's journey, because he went from having a lord and a master, having a purpose, albeit it was very misanthropic, to, by the time he gets to the female vampires' castles, he is no longer necessarily a misanthrope looking to wipe out the world. His main thing is to get revenge for Dracula. That he's going to do no matter what. But he goes from like, I'm going to kill Hector, who he believes betrayed Dracula. I'm going to kill every human, but I'm going to definitely get whoever it is that screwed over Dracula. But he goes from like, I want to kill all these humans, and has experiences in the deserts, and he meets different people along the way. There's a captain that sails him to Genoa, where, well, I can't even do that. His misanthropy is further reinforced because every time he runs into humans, like he's like, look, I could use some help, or just leave me alone. They don't. Like that's the very first thing I forgot about. So he's by himself, and he's at an oasis getting water, and in comes like 5 bandits, and he's like, please just leave me alone. Just let me have some water. And they don't. They're like, oh, we're going to kill you, make you a slave. And he's a super good fighter, so he kills them all and turns them into his own army of the, and it's a statement that's one I really liked, is like, here he's a misanthrope, and he's vindicated every bit along the way to like, yeah, I should kill more humans. I should kill them all. And then he runs into more humans. What do they do to try and screw him over? And he just because he's not in the stage of like, oh, I'm going to kill every human just yet. I got to get back and get vengeance for Dracula. So he's just like, please, I do not have time to fight. Just let me pass through your town. No, get back on the boat and leave. The boat is already gone. I assure you, I won't be doing anything here. Just let us pass through your town. Nope. And then he sends his monsters after it and kills them all, and his army gets bigger. Well, then he ends up having a conversation with the captain of the ship. And the captain, says like, you do have a choice here, And the way he doesn't kill the captain, and the way the captain just bluntly tells him the truth, it says, look, here's it, and earns the respect of Isaac. So Isaac's like, all right, I won't take your boat. I'll let you sail it. And, that, like, he makes a friend. And he gets Isaac to think a little bit differently. Then Isaac ends up talking to one of the creatures, because these creatures have sentience as well. Their souls are coming from hell, and he talks to one of them who actually can talk, and starts to realize, we have a choice here. We don't have to, like, you were dead, you were damned to hell. And the creature says, I appreciate you giving me another chance, because I was already damned to hell because I was forced to lie. Otherwise, they were going to kill me and a bunch of other people. So for that, I was sent to hell. But now here I am. I'm to do your bidding. And then Isaac starts to think, like, but what if I had no bidding? What would you do? And the curiosity of the future starts to not necessarily entice, but pique Isaac's curiosity. Like, you don't have to do what other people want you to do. What is it that you would like to do that isn't killing all the other humans in the world? And so Isaac comes in to the castle where Hector is, and Hector's kind of being held hostage because, well, vampires could kick the crap out of humans. And he walks in, and Hector thinks he's just going to kill him. And Hector's like, I know I screwed up, and for that, I have nothing to offer. I'm sorry. And then Isaac's like, that is good that you have grown and matured, but I think there's been enough killing for the day. And he's like, what, really? And it's great to see a guy go from anger and rage and hopelessness and pure misanthropy beyond whatever I could handle to like, no, I'm going to affect my future. I'm going to change my future. And then he does the right thing. I won't go into what ends up happening, but um that subplot is finished. But then the plot itself is very good. I don't want to ruin how it all ties together. All four of these stories do come together. I know it seems they're kind of over, but it really was the characters and the journey and the plot and the writing and the animation was superb as well. That it was just like it was wonderfully done, wonderfully done. I kind of did a vomiting synopsis of it because I didn't want to really ruin the plot. And it's really hard to describe how it all fits together without taking an hour and a half to do it myself. But I was from the get go. You're like, this is good. Things are happening. They're moving along. And then the ending, you're like, wow, that was really cool. That was really cool. The only thing, the only thing, and they had to do it. They had to put a little turd in the punch bowl, and that was the overly lesbian relationship in the all-female vampire group. I say four sisters, they're not blood related. The queen is madly in love or married to her general, and her general, of course, is a big buff female vampire. And I was like, okay, vampires. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll let it go. Alucard is bi. And I'm like, eccentric. Okay, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I can see that go. But it was the amount of emphasis they put on that stupid relationship between the two female vampires. Oh, I need you. Oh, I love you, but I couldn't live without you. But could we have a life without? I was like, oh, are you going to invade the humans or not? What is going? What? That ended up becoming more of a Harlequin romance novel aspect of this whole thing that just had no place, no bearing. Look, say you're together. Okay, that's fine. All right, help you out. I love you. Please take care of yourself. All right, I will. No, but I wanted to come with you to see what it was like. And that's the part where you will skip ahead. You'll be like, how long is this going to go on? You're forward. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't stop talking. Completely unnecessary for the advancement of the plot. Aside from that, it was fine. And if you want to talk, I mean, you really got to watch the storyline of Isaac because there's your affirmative, not your affirmative action or your diversity. There is bringing in a minority character done right. It wasn't, look, he's black. Do you know he's black? He's black. Hey, he's black. He's like, no, he's more stoic, Sufi. He happens to be from Africa. Okay, he sent him back there. All right. But the character of Isaac and how he changed, that was the most deep intellectual philosophical of all the characters. And there was a fair amount of them there too. That was the coolest part of the movie or the series that I thought it was. And you know what? You know what? You made a good character. You made a good character. And that is how you do diversity. You don't just grab some unfortunate. Now, thankfully, it's voice acting, so you're not going to say, "Oh, that actor." Again, I talked about the actor who played Finn in Star Wars. Hey, let's do a crappy character and grab some random black guy and shove him in there and ruin his acting career forever. You came up with a great character, just happened to be a black dude, and now people are like, "Dude, that guy was great. That was cool how he went and did the thing." Whereas, oh, okay, the lesbians talking about how much they love it. No, don't go, Tarsha. I need you. No, Jadanka, I need you too. No, but we cannot live without one another. Oh. But then, without ruining it, yeah, the end, it all does come together. So Dracula does get killed early on. You're like, where is this? Where's this going? Like that was rather, and don't worry, there's a lot left. There's a lot left. All right. Any super chats? I don't think there's any super chats. Hey, look who's here. How you doing, Alex? We got look at that. Look at that. We got the three amigos here. We got our three Latinos in the field all there. Two men and a little lady. And we got the blue wrench. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys later. I'm going on with Masculine Geeks Tools.